I never planned to destroy the one person who loved me without conditions. I never planned to watch my husband fall to his knees, begging God to make the pain stop. And I never planned to become the villain in my own marriage. But validation, attention, desire, those things have a strange way of making you forget who you are. The night I confessed, my husband looked at me with eyes so empty. I swear I saw the moment his soul cracked. And even then, even in that moment, I still thought he'd choose me. I thought love would work like an eraser, wipe my sins away. I was wrong. This is not a story about cheating. This is a story about why. Why someone who had everything still reached for more. Why a marriage can burn even when both people are still inside it. And why forgiveness is never owed, no matter how desperately you beg for it. I used to think I was a good person. Not perfect. Not special. But good. I had a husband who adored me. Too much, people said. He loved loudly, generously, and without holding back. When he introduced me to friends, he placed a hand on the small of my back, like I was something precious. When I talked, he listened. Not nodded, listened. Like my thoughts mattered to him more than anything in the world. But here's the truth no one ever tells you. Being loved deeply doesn't mean you feel worthy of it. I didn't. I was raised in a home where affection was conditional, where compliments were rare and silence was normal, where achievements mattered more than feelings. I always felt like I needed to earn love, perform for it, prove myself. So when my husband loved me freely, without requiring anything, I didn't know how to receive it. It felt like a spotlight I didn't deserve. He called me beautiful. I heard he's biased. He called me intelligent. I heard he's just being nice. He said he chose me because I was special. I heard, you fooled him well enough. And when you don't feel worthy, eventually you go searching for evidence that you are. Before we begin, if you enjoy stories that touch the heart and remind us of life's quiet miracles, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. It truly helps our little storytelling family grow. That's how it started. A compliment. Just one. A stupid, harmless compliment from a coworker named Liam. I laughed at something he said during a team lunch, and he whispered, "You have the kind of smile that should never be wasted." I froze. It wasn't sexual. It wasn't bold, but it was intoxicating, because it wasn't from someone who already loved me. It wasn't from someone who was supposed to say nice things. It was from someone who didn't know me anything. Someone who didn't know my insecurities. Someone who wasn't obligated to care about my feelings. And when he said it, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Seen. Not loved. Not adored. Seen. And that's the most dangerous kind of attention. The kind that fills the holes you pretend don't exist. The slow slide. People imagine cheating happens like lightning. One sudden strike, one reckless moment. But that's not how it works. It starts with smaller sins. Harmless ones. Invisible ones. A longer conversation at the office. An inside joke you don't bother mentioning at home. A message you reply to too quickly. The tiny rush when someone notices your new haircut before your husband does. Liam became my escape. Not because he was better. Not because he was more attractive. Not because I wanted him. But because he gave me the one thing I didn't know I was starved for. Validation without history. He didn't know my flaws. My childhood. My wounds. My failures. He saw only the polished version of me. The version I used to be before real life softened my shine. And I let him. I let myself become two people. The wife who had everything. And the woman who still felt like she was nothing. I kept my marriage and my emotional addiction in separate rooms of my heart. Like a coward. Like someone playing with fire, pretending the flames would never touch me. The lie of control. Every step deeper into the wrong thing comes with a lie attached. I can handle this. It's harmless. I'm not doing anything wrong. He'll never know. It's just attention. I deserve to feel good sometimes. I told myself all of it. And I believed it. The first time he touched my hand, accidentally. I didn't pull away. I didn't encourage him either, not intentionally. But I didn't stop him. And that's the moment I later confessed to my husband. The moment he said hurt him more than the actual affair. Because that's when you made the choice, he told me. That's when you let someone else into a place that belonged to us. I didn't see it then. But he was right. Emotional cheating is like lighting a fuse. It doesn't explode immediately, but it will. The night I crossed the line, it happened after a late work event. Music, dim lights, a few too many drinks. Just enough loneliness inside me to make me reckless. Liam offered to walk me to my car. I should have said no. I knew I should have said no. But wanting to feel wanted is an ugly weakness. And that night mine won. The kiss was fast, unexpected, a shock, a mistake. But I kissed him back. That's the part one eventually confessed. That's the part that broke my husband. Not the kiss, but the fact that when darkness asked me to choose, I didn't choose him. Not that night. Not when it mattered most. The consequences. I drove home shaking, nauseous, disgusted with myself. I told myself I would never do it again. I told myself it wasn't physical enough to count. I told myself if I pretended it didn't happen, it would somehow vanish. But guilt is a living thing. It breathes. It grows. It whispers at night when you're trying to sleep. And a month later, when my husband held me in bed, kissing my forehead like he always did, the guilt clawed its way up my throat. I need to tell you something, I whispered. I will never forget the look on his face after I confessed. Shock, pain, disbelief, and then a silence so deep, it felt like dying. You had a whole world with me, he said quietly, and you burned it down for a compliment. He slept on the couch that night, not because he hated me, but because he couldn't breathe in the same room with me. The morning after, there's something terrifying about waking up and realizing the world hasn't ended, even though yours has. Sunlight still came through the curtains. Birds still chirped outside the window. Cars still passed by the house like nothing had happened. But inside our home, the air was different. Thin, sharp, heavy. I walked into the living room and saw him sitting on the couch. He hadn't slept. I could tell from the way he was staring at nothing, elbows on his knees, fingers clasped together like he was praying, except he wasn't talking to God. He was talking to his pain. He didn't look up when I walked in, didn't flinch, didn't acknowledge me. It hurt, but I knew I deserved worse. Can we talk? I whispered. He didn't say yes, didn't say no. He just breathed, a long, exhausted exhale that felt like it came from the deepest part of him. Finally he said, sit. Not baby, not love, just sit. And I sat. The questions I feared. He didn't yell. He didn't throw anything. He didn't insult me. He asked questions. And questions can hurt far more than anger. Did you ever think about me while it was happening? Yes. Every second. Then why didn't you stop? I swallowed hard. The truth tasted bitter. Because I wanted to feel wanted. He closed his eyes like the words physically wounded him. And I never made you feel that way? He asked quietly. That's not what I mean. But he shook his head. No. That's exactly what you mean. I reached for his hand. He pulled back like my touch burned. That hurt more than anything. You let another man give you what you should have asked from me, he said. His voice wasn't angry. It was broken. And that was worse. The first time he looked at me differently. He had always looked at me with softness. Like I was something precious he couldn't believe he got to keep. But now, he looked at me like I was a stranger wearing his wife's skin. When you told me, he said, I felt something inside me die. I couldn't breathe. I'm not trying to hurt you, he added. I'm trying to explain what it feels like. His voice cracked. You were supposed to be my person. Tears rushed to my eyes. I still am. He finally looked at me, and the sadness in his face was unbearable. No, he whispered. You're someone who hurt me, and I don't know what to do with that. The wall he built. My husband was a fixer, a problem solver, a man who believed everything had a solution without giving up. But this broke every tool he had. He spent the rest of the day moving around the house like a ghost, not speaking, not touching me, not meeting my eyes. When he did look at me, it was quick, like he couldn't handle seeing me too long without remembering what I did. At one point, he stood in the hallway, staring at our wedding photo. I watched him from a distance. He touched the frame with shaking fingers, then turned it face down. I felt like someone had punched me in the stomach. The real aftermath of cheating. People think cheating destroys trust. It does. But it destroys more than that. It destroys the story the other person believed about you. The story they built their life around. The story they defended in front of others. The story they told themselves when things got hard. Cheating is not just betrayal. It's identity theft. I didn't just break his heart. I broke his image of us. And now he didn't know who he was married to anymore. Later that night, he finally sat beside me on the couch. Not close. Not touching. Just beside me. And that alone felt like a tiny miracle. I don't hate you, he said. I exhaled shakily. But I don't trust you. And I don't know how long that will take to rebuild. I'll do anything, I whispered. I know, he said softly. And that scares me. Because I don't know if anything will ever be enough. The guilt becomes a monster. The guilt didn't leave after I confessed. It grew sharper. I saw the impact of my choice in every small thing. The way he stiffened when I walked into a room. The way he checked his phone, like bracing himself for more bad news. The way he slept facing away from me. The way he avoided casual touches that used to be instinct. Every time he winced when I spoke, I felt like I was watching him bleed because of a wound I created. And the worst part? I wished he would yell, scream, throw things. Because silence is so much louder than anger. The night he finally broke. 3 days after my confession, he walked into the kitchen while I was washing dishes. He stood there quietly. I kept wiping the same plate over and over. Finally, he said, I keep trying to imagine it. I froze. Imagine what? The moment you chose him over me. My stomach twisted. Please don't. Do you know what that does to a man? He continued. To picture the woman he loves looking at someone else the way she used to look at him? Tears gathered in his eyes. Do you know what it feels like, he whispered. To realize you weren't enough? My heart shattered. You were enough, I said quickly. You were always enough. I was the one who. He slammed his hand against the counter. Not in anger at me, but in pain so strong he didn't know where to put it. I trusted you, he said hoarsely. With everything. With me. A tear slid down his cheek. And you handed a piece of us to someone who didn't deserve it. I covered my mouth to keep from sobbing. I'm so sorry, I managed. He closed his eyes, shoulders shaking. And for the first time, he looked small, fragile, defeated. I broke more than his trust. I broke his spirit. The choice he made. That night he packed a small bag. My chest tightened. Was he leaving? He looked at me with red eyes. I'm not moving out, he said. But I need space. I'm staying with my brother for a few days. I nodded. Even though it felt like someone was cutting through my ribs. Before leaving, he turned back. When I come home, he whispered, I need to know if you're ready to tell me the whole truth. I already did. No, he said. Not the details. Not the timeline. I want to know why. He walked out the door. And I stood there, realizing something awful. I didn't fully know the answer myself. If you want to continue, just say. Continue part 3. You said. Continue part 3. ChatGPT said. I cheated for validation. Then expected my husband to forgive me. Part 3. The ugly truth about why I did it. 1,000 plus words. Total will reach 5,000 after all 5 parts. When he left for those few days, the silence inside the house turned into something living. Something with teeth. Every room echoed with reminders. The indentation of his body on our side of the bed. The half-full mug he forgot on the counter. The jacket he always threw over the dining chair instead of hanging it. Those things used to annoy me. Now they were sacred. Because they were evidence that he loved me enough to live here. And I had broken that. But his last question replayed in my head again and again. I want to know why. Not what I did. Not when. Not how. Why? Most cheaters say, I don't know why it happened. But that's a lie. There is always a reason. Always a root. Always a wound. And I had to face mine. The truth I tried to avoid. The night he left, I sat on the edge of the bed and asked myself the question he needed me to answer. Why did I risk the one person who would have walked through fire for me? For a moment of attention from someone who didn't matter? I expected to find something simple. Loneliness. Temptation. Opportunity. But what I found was uglier. It wasn't about Liam. It wasn't about attraction. It wasn't about desire. It was about me. About the part of me that still believed I wasn't enough. I wanted validation, yes. But not because I wasn't getting it at home. I wanted it because my self-worth was so fragile that it needed constant feeding. My husband loved me deeply, naturally, calmly, like love was his second language. But Liam's attention felt like a prize. A surprise. An achievement. A temporary antidote to the quiet voice inside that whispered, "You don't deserve your husband. One day he'll realize it." So when someone outside noticed me, it felt like proof that maybe, just maybe, I didn't trick my husband into loving me. It wasn't romantic. It wasn't passionate. It was pathetic. The wound that preceded the betrayal. I grew up trying to earn love, to earn praise, to earn attention. Affection in my childhood home was given only for good grades, perfect behavior, accomplishments. Love was conditional. It taught me a terrible lesson. If someone loves you easily, it's not real. It's a mistake. And you must keep performing to maintain it. So when my husband loved me effortlessly, without hesitation, without needing me to earn it, my brain didn't trust it. I didn't think, I'm lovable. I thought, he's blinded by love now, but eventually he'll see the real me and regret choosing me. Instead of dealing with that wound, I did the worst thing a person can do. I looked for validation outside, to reassure myself inside. I used another man as a mirror. I thought another man's attention would make me believe I was worthy of my husband's love. It was twisted logic, dangerous, selfish, and cruel. And now we were paying the price. When he came back, 3 days later, I heard his car pull into the driveway. My throat tightened. I stood there in the hallway, frozen, listening to his keys at the door. When he walked in, he looked tired. Not angry. Not cold. Just exhausted. Iwisparat. The pause felt like an ocean. "Do you want to talk now?" he asked. I nodded. We sat on the couch, farther apart than married people should. For a moment, neither of us spoke. He was waiting for me to begin. So I took a breath and said the thing I feared most. I didn't cheat because you weren't enough. I cheated because I didn't think I was. His expression changed, something like confusion mixed with hurt. "I don't understand," he said quietly. So I continued. The confession behind the confession. "I never learned what healthy love feels like," I said. "I didn't grow up with it. It was never unconditional. So when you loved me so openly, so generously, I didn't feel worthy of it." He stared at me, jaw tight. "I felt like I was pretending to be the kind of woman you thought I was," I said. "And eventually, I believed you'd figure out I wasn't that person. That you'd see I wasn't good enough." His eyes flickered with pain. "So you cheated to prove to yourself that other men wanted you." I nodded, ashamed. "I wanted to feel wanted in a way that didn't feel obligated," I said. "Not because someone promised to love me forever, but because they didn't have to." He leaned back, processing. "And you didn't think I wanted you? That I desired you? That's not the same," I said. "You wanted me because you loved me. You desired me because you chose me. Liam didn't love me. That made his compliments feel like proof, not love, but proof, that I wasn't unlovable." He rubbed his face with both hands. "So you risked our marriage for evidence?" The shame burned. "Yes," I whispered. "I did." He let out a shaky breath. And then he said something that felt like a knife being pushed slowly into my chest. "I would have given anything to make you feel loved. But I can't fight a battle you never told me existed." Tears filled my eyes. "I know," I said. "I know. And I am so sorry." The thing he admitted. After a long silence, he spoke again. "You know what hurts the most?" I looked up, bracing myself. "You didn't give me a chance," he whispered. "You didn't tell me you felt insecure. You didn't ask for reassurance. You didn't tell me you were struggling. You just gave the broken part of you to someone else." My heart shattered all over again. "I should have talked to you," I said. "Yes," he said. "You should have." The question that terrified me. Then he asked, "Do you still want to be my wife?" My chest tightened. "Yes," I said immediately. "More than anything. I want us. I want to fix this. I want you." He studied my face for a long time. "Then you need to rebuild yourself," he said. "Not just us. Not just our marriage. You. Because if you don't fix the part of you that needed validation, this will happen again." I nodded, crying softly. "I know," I whispered. He stood up. "Tonight I'm sleeping here," he said, pointing to the couch. "Not because I don't love you, but because I'm not ready to hold you yet." I wiped my tears. "Okay." He paused then, looking at me with soft heartbreak. "I still love you," he whispered. And that hurt more than if he had stopped. The days after he returned were both hopeful and brutal. He was here. That meant something. He hadn't abandoned the marriage. He hadn't abandoned me. But presence is not the same as closeness. He lived beside me, not with me. He spoke to me, but not like before. He laughed sometimes, but never in the way that lit up his whole face. He touched objects around me, but not me. And every night he slept on the couch. Close enough to hear me cry. Far enough not to hold me through it. It was a punishment he didn't want to give. And I didn't want to receive. But both of us needed. Because healing after betrayal isn't romantic. It's ugly. Slow. Painful. And love, real love, becomes a battlefield. The morning he finally looked at me. A week passed before something shifted. I was making coffee in the kitchen. Hands trembling the way they always did when I felt him enter a room. He leaned against the doorframe, watching me. But this time he didn't look at me with hurt or anger. He looked at me like he was trying to see if the woman he loved was still in there somewhere. "Can we talk?" he asked. I nodded, heart pounding. He sat down at the table. I sat across from him, hands in my lap. He took a deep breath. "I've been thinking," he said, "about what you told me. About why you cheated." My stomach twisted, bracing for the worst. "And I understand some of it," he continued. "Not all. Not fully. But I understand enough to know that your pain didn't start with me." My eyes filled instantly. "But," he added, voice cracking, "understanding your wound doesn't erase mine." A tear fell down his cheek before he could wipe it away. "And I'm trying," he whispered. "I'm really trying. But some days, I wake up and I look at you and the first thing I think is you broke me. And other days I wake up and think, I can't imagine my life without you. And both of those thoughts feel true." I covered my mouth to keep a sob from breaking loose. "I love you," he said quietly. "But I don't know how to love you without hurting right now." His honesty was a blade. But a clean blade. One that cut, yes, but didn't poison. I reached for his hand. This time he didn't pull away. He let me hold it. And that small mercy felt like a miracle. The rebuilding. Rebuilding after betrayal wasn't one big moment. It wasn't a grand apology. It wasn't a romantic gesture. It was small things. Slow things. Hard things. It was answering every painful question he needed to ask. And he asked many. "Do you miss him?" "No." "Did you think about him when we were together?" "No. Never." "Why didn't you stop it earlier?" "Because I didn't want the attention to end." Each answer hurt him. But lies would have killed us. It was transparency. My phone. My accounts. My location. Not because he demanded it. Because I offered it, willingly. It was checking in emotionally. "I feel insecure today. I need reassurance. I'm afraid you hate me. I'm scared I'll lose you." Things I had never said before. Things that, ironically, might have saved us if I had said them sooner. And it was listening, really listening, when he told me what he needed. Some nights he wanted space. Some nights he wanted closeness. Some nights he wanted to talk for hours. Some nights he didn't want to talk at all. Healing wasn't linear. Some days he seemed okay. Other days one small thing, a song, a phrase, a moment of silence, would send him back into hurt. And every time I stayed, every time I listened, every time I apologized, not in a desperate way, but in a sincere one. Because healing wasn't my pace. It was his. The night he slept beside me again. It happened unexpectedly. We were lying in bed. Me on one side, the empty space between us cold and sharp. I thought he had already fallen asleep on the couch, but instead he walked into the bedroom quietly. He stood there for a long moment, looking at the bed. I sat up. "Are you okay?" He nodded, even though he didn't look okay. "Can I?" His voice caught. He cleared his throat and tried again. "Can I sleep here tonight?" My heart nearly burst. "Yes," I whispered. "Yes. Please." He slid under the covers, keeping a polite distance. But as the minutes passed, he shifted. Closer, closer, until eventually his arm brushed mine. I didn't move. My eyes filled with tears. "Is this okay?" he asked. "It's more than okay." He exhaled a shaky breath. Then slowly, like he was afraid I might disappear, he reached for my hand under the blanket. Our fingers intertwined. It was the gentlest touch he had given me since the night I confessed. And in that tiny connection, I felt something unbreakable awaken between us again. Not trust, not fully, but hope. The script flips. In the following days, something else shifted too. He started showing vulnerability. Not the shattered, wounded vulnerability from before. Real vulnerability. One night, he sat at the edge of the bed and said, "I'm scared." "Of what?" I asked softly. "That I'll forgive you," he whispered. "And you'll hurt me again." Tears flooded my eyes. "I won't," I said. "I will spend the rest of my life proving that." He looked at me, searching my face. "Then I need you to fix the part of you that believes you're unlovable," he said. "Because that's what made you reach for someone else. Not desire. Not passion. Not boredom. You're wound." I nodded. "I'm working on it," I said. "And I'll keep working on it." We talked for hours. For the first time, he wasn't interrogating me. He was trusting me with his fears. And trust, even in small doses, felt sacred. The breakthrough. One evening, about a month after the affair came to light, we were sitting on the couch watching a movie. Halfway through he paused it, turned to me and said, "Do you still want me?" I frowned. "What? Of course I do." He swallowed hard. "I don't mean as your husband. I mean, do you still desire me?" My heart twisted. "More than ever," I said honestly. "Because I see how strong you are. How loyal. How deeply you love. And how much you're willing to fight for us." He stared at me, eyes shining. And then for the first time in weeks, he kissed me. Not a desperate kiss. Not a painful one. A slow, soft, trembling kiss. Full of exhaustion, love, fear, and longing. When he pulled back, he rested his forehead against mine. "I want to try again," he whispered. And I broke. But in the gentlest way. In the way you break when something beautiful begins to return to life. I didn't sleep the night before our final counseling session. I lay awake staring at the empty side of the bed, running my fingers along the sheets where Daniel used to sleep, where his breathing used to be my lullaby, where his warmth used to calm my worst thoughts, where his presence used to make me feel safe, even when I didn't deserve it. Tonight, the sheets were cold, and I had no one to blame but myself. The day had arrived. The day Daniel would tell me whether he wanted this marriage, or whether he was done. The counselor's office felt like a courtroom. The room was quiet when we walked in. Daniel sat down first. I sat far enough to respect his space, close enough to show I wasn't running from accountability. Our therapist, a calm woman with soft eyes and a firm voice, folded her hands and said, "Daniel, today is your turn. You've listened to her story. You've heard her remorse. You've watched her change. But now, it's time to express what you need, and what you've decided." I held my breath. Daniel didn't look at me. He stared at the carpet, as if searching for the right words buried in the fibers. When he finally spoke, his voice was unlike anything I'd heard from him before, broken, raw, stripped of all armor. "You didn't destroy our marriage. You destroyed my trust in myself." His words hit me like a fist. He continued, voice trembling. "I kept asking myself what I didn't give you. Was I boring? Too steady? Not exciting enough? Not enough of a man? I felt stupid for loving you so completely." I wanted to speak. I wanted to tell him he was everything, but I didn't interrupt. He went on. "When you cheated, it wasn't just betrayal. It was humiliation. It was the feeling that the person who knew me best thought I wasn't worth staying loyal to. Tears slipped down his cheeks. My heart cracked. I looked at myself in the mirror, he whispered, and didn't recognize the man looking back. I began sobbing, but he held up his hand. Don't apologize again, he said. You've apologized. You've owned every detail. He finally lifted his eyes to mine. I'm not here to punish you. I'm here to tell you the truth. My chest tightened. This was it. The moment my future would be decided. I still love you, and it hurts so much. He said it in a whisper, like the words themselves were heavy. I tried not loving you. I tried shutting off my feelings. I tried imagining life without you. But every scenario ended with me lonely and miserable. I cried harder. Daniel exhaled shakily. But loving you doesn't erase what you did. It doesn't automatically rebuild trust. It doesn't magically heal trauma. I need more than apologies and effort. I need partnership, transparency, consistency, accountability. He leaned forward, elbows on his knees. And I need time. The therapist turned to me. Can you give him that? She asked. I nodded immediately. I'll give him whatever he needs. Daniel's expression softened, but only slightly. I'm not ready to fall back into this marriage like nothing happened, he said. But I'm also not ready to walk away. My body felt light for a moment, hope rising, but Daniel wasn't finished. The conditions. He took a breath. If we try again, here's what I need. No secrecy. Not one bit. Passwords. Transparency. Not policing, just openness. You continue therapy on your own. You didn't cheat because of me. You cheated because of something inside you. I need to know you're working on that. We rebuild slowly. No moving back home full-time immediately. No pretending everything is fine for friends and family. No skip steps. You show me consistency, not intensity. Grand gestures don't impress me anymore. Loyalty does. Stability does. If you ever feel that validation itch again, you tell me. Not after. Before. I nodded. I would have agreed to 1,000 conditions if it meant I had even a chance of earning him back. And then, he reached for my hand. It was the first time he'd touched me in months. His fingers trembled when they brushed against mine. I didn't grip them tightly. I let him hold me how he wanted. I don't know how to forgive you yet, he said. My breath caught. But I'm willing to try. The first night we spent together again wasn't romantic. He didn't sleep at my apartment. But after the counseling session, he walked me to my car. The evening air was cool, and the streetlights made his eyes look soft and tired. Before I opened the car door, he said, "Come have dinner at the house tomorrow. Just dinner. Nothing more." I nodded. No expectations, he added. No pressure. Just two people who used to be us trying again. My throat tightened. "I'll be there," I whispered. Dinner was awkward but beautiful. When I entered our kitchen the next evening, I felt out of place, like a guest in my own life. Daniel had cooked pasta, simple, safe, something we both used to make on busy nights. We sat across from each other, silent, nervous, careful. But there were small moments, tiny cracks where the old US slipped through. When I reached for the pepper, and he passed it before I even asked. When he noticed I didn't drink water and automatically filled a glass for me. When I laughed, just softly, and he looked surprised, as if he hadn't heard that sound in years. These weren't romantic sparks. They were familiar embers. Still alive. Still warm. Just covered in ash. The night ended with a question. After dinner, Daniel walked me to the door. He hesitated. Then he said, "Would you like to do this again? Not every day, but maybe once a week?" My eyes filled. "Yes," I breathed. "Absolutely yes." He nodded, looking both relieved and terrified. "Good night, Emily." "Good night, Daniel." Months passed and we slowly healed. It was not a fairy tale. It was work. Real, exhausting, vulnerable work. We had setbacks. Nights when he didn't want to talk to me. Days when he doubted everything. Moments when triggers hit him like knives. But he never stopped trying. And neither did I. There were breakthroughs too. When he hugged me on his own for the first time. When he texted me, "I miss you," after one of our dinners. When he invited me to spend a weekend with him just to talk and walk by the lake. When he said, "I'm starting to feel safe again." Every victory was small, but every victory mattered. The day he asked me to come home. It was raining. I arrived for dinner, soaked from the sudden downpour, apologizing as I dripped all over the entryway. Daniel looked at me, really looked, and something shifted. His shoulders softened. His eyes warmed. "Emily," he said quietly. "Yes. Move back home." I froze. He stepped closer and touched my cheek. "I'm not saying everything is perfect. I'm saying, I want you here. I want us here. I want to rebuild our life. Together." I covered my mouth, sobbing. He pulled me into his arms, the first full embrace since the affair, and whispered, "I forgive you. Not all at once, but enough to start again." Epilogue: where we are now. Healing wasn't a straight line. Forgiveness wasn't immediate. Trust wasn't magically restored. But we rebuilt, piece by piece, day by day, hand in hand. Daniel doesn't see me as perfect. I don't see myself as broken. We see each other as human. And because of that understanding, our marriage is stronger now than it ever was before. Not because the pain disappeared, but because we learned to rebuild from the ashes. Together.